Karen meant it when she said no drama, but I guess that did not include fires. Fatima is still riding by Zach's side, but for how long? And is this rock bottom for Daniela? What's good, y'all? It's your good sis Erica Vane coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with another Sistas video. And we are back, baby. Season 6 just premiered for Tyler Perry's Sistas with episode number 1. And of course, I'm your good sis you love to talk TV with. So of course, I'm going to break down the episode for you. And that is what this video is all about. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notification so you don't miss out on any of my sisters' content and conversations right here on Erica Vane TV. And each week we are doing a live after show to talk about the episode the moment that it ends. We will be going live on IG, YouTube, as well as Twitter Spaces for our Sisters Keepers. Not only a conversation and review of what happened in the episode, but real sister talk between two bomb black women, myself and Alicia, Allie Nick. I'll link her YouTube channel in the description box down below so that you can follow her as well, so that we can go down deep below the surface of a lot of the themes and the circumstances that are presented in Sistas, and share from a really intimate, vulnerable, honest space, and hopefully able to help us all, right? That's what we're here for: connectivity, honesty, relatability, and all that jazz. So check out our Sisters Keepers every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after the new episode of Tyler Perry Sistas premieres. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this episode breakdown. And I want to go ahead and start with Zach and Fatima. They are basically the second major thing that we see in this episode, and it's really just one scene with them in bed talking. This is after they had the conversation with Heather. She agrees to the $2,000 a month, and they are doing what Zach and Fatima do, you know, in bed, being all cuddly, all cute, and all that jazz. Crystal is always gonna serve. Like, Fatima looks amazing in this little red negligee. And we ain't gonna talk about how you gonna wrap your hair up at night, honey. I see them silk pillows, but also the way that your hair be on point. Come on now, Fatima, come on now. It's like, let me take this seriously. They really were having a really interesting conversation in this scene. Zach starts to ask Fatima about her body count. They're talking about his baby mamas. He starts the scene off talking about he don't think that Fatima loves him as much as he loves her. And I actually have a separate video where I'm going to deep dive into that more and talk about who actually loves the other more. I did something similar with some All-American content I created with their number one ship that happened over there, and that ruffled a few feathers, but I was very honest and very open. And I think that this is a much deeper question that we could really have a really full dialogue about. So again, subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out when I post a Does Zach Love Fatima More video, because we are going to deep dive into this. But he starts it off with that. And then he asked her, like, why are you so cool with the whole baby mama thing? Like, you're not like anybody that I have been with before. Like, you just so chill. You just going with the flow. What's up? And Fatima lets him know, like, I'm not okay with it, but it is what it is. And we kind of just have to press forward. And I love that. I love the position that she took. I went back and rewatched the scene quite a few times because I wanted to get a better grasp. At first, I was thinking, like, okay, Fatima, you lying, girl. Because at one point, she literally says, She literally says that she's not worried about any of the women that came before. And I'm like, girl, you were very much so worried about what is going on with Karen. Do we not remember the damn photo? And Zach running all up and through the streets of Atlanta and then trying to mollywop Robin all up and through, trying to mollywop Aaron all up and through Steam Plant. But she quantifies and she says, as long as they are not interrupting or disturbing what we have now, I don't care about any woman from before. And that makes sense. The stuff that was playing out with Karen is starting to interrupt and intercede into their relationship now. And then it's also not really clear for Fatima that Zach is 100% over Karen. So of course that would make it an exclusion to the statement that she said. So no, Fatima was not lying, and she does not care about women that came before her. But she adds the caveat of, like, as long as they're not interfering in what we have now. And unfortunately, Zach has been leaving the door open for some things to interfere with what they have now, both in past relationships, i.e. with Karen, but then also in allowing a little bit too much leeway with new women like Deja, who is next door. I thought that this conversation was very interesting because it really just exemplifies how little Zach is given in this relationship and how much is expected for Fatima. And before y'all get all y'all panties in a damn bunch and get to moving your fingers all fast in the comment section and coming for me because you just love you some Zach so very much, hear me out. That's what I will request of you guys in season 6, that you actually listen to the video, hear my whole point out before you decide to close your ears and get to defending your favorite Zachary or defending the point that you think I made. Hear me when I say this. Zach, in this conversation, asks Fatima her body count, continues to persist to ask her body count, and then she concedes and tells him her body count. He questions it, doesn't believe it again, and then accepts it, and then turns around and does not reciprocate by telling her his body count. Again, Fatima is having to concede and Zach is not necessarily having to do much. He literally makes a point, and they get to this because he's just like, when we're talking about giving grace, can we make sure that no other man shows up at my door talking about he your baby father, because I don't think I have that much grace to give. Meanwhile, Fatima has already had to deal with 2 women who are mothers to your children come to the door and with some shenanigans, some foolishness, but you are in your feelings or in your emotions and you cannot find any additional grace for Fatima, who has had one fake guy come. Again, this is literally visually showing exactly how much Fatima is having to give, and Zach is just basically given a pass, and it's kind of like scot-free to kind of do whatever he wants. And this is my biggest issue with their relationship. I don't believe that their relationship is sustainable because Fatima is having to concede. She's having to lower herself in many ways to be able to meet him where he's at emotionally and mentally, and he is not doing enough to meet her where she needs him to be as the romantic partner that she deserves. Is he giving her orgasms? Cool, yes. Is he providing a roof over her head? Yes, but she also already had her own. What the things that Zach is missing, and we talked about this on our Sistas Keeper last night, are the emotional intelligence piece, the mental stability piece, the spiritual grounding piece. And those are the areas where we need to see Zach start to make a little bit of headway, a little bit of traction. It's not enough anymore for you to dick her down and have her sleep well. It's not enough anymore for this duplex to serve as y'all's resident. Meanwhile, every single time that you mention it, you literally say my house. Because even in this moment, he says, don't have no man show up at my house. That's y'all's house. And Fatima's already communicated to you how she feels about you using that word my house in that way. You can't even concede and give her that and learn to use better language so that she doesn't feel like she is a visitor at y'all's residence. Y'all, Zach has to do better. It's season 6 and it's time for him to start to do better. He's all in his feelings before Fatima reveals to him that she has slept with 7 people in her entire life. He's all in her feelings about the idea of her having so many men. Like, she literally says, Zach, you've been with so many women. And he says, well, you've been with so many men. No, she hasn't. And he don't know that. But again, Fatima is having to concede and having to meet him where he's at, because in moments where she wants to call attention to certain things about him that could be areas of opportunity or weakness or whatever you want to call it, things that he could potentially improve, instead of going ahead and sitting in that and going ahead and owning that, he would much rather deflect. And I'm sorry, but Fatima deserves better. She needs more. She needs a partner who is not going to get defensive every time that their other partner brings up something that is a problem for them in their relationship, or something that makes them uncomfortable, or something that they will love to address and have and see some kind of change happen with. Zach is at a place where he has lived in survival mode for so long and is still grappling with so much in reference to the abandonment issues that his mother has laced him with, that he still cannot stop defending first and find a way to create some type of accountability and ownership for himself within all of his relationships, not just his romantic ones. And enough is enough. Like, in watching this very short scene in this conversation, it just reiterated exactly where Zach is in this relationship, where he is mentally, and is not on Fatima's level. And that's just it. That doesn't make him a horrible person. That doesn't mean I dislike Zach. It means I'm calling the thing a thing, and I'm having real honest grown-up conversations. Y'all are welcome to join me, but if you're gonna be immature and you can't call a thing, then you might as well go ahead and stop typing now and take your ass on somewhere else. Now, the crux of this conversation is not necessarily each other's body counts and insecurities and all of that. This conversation is really grounded in Zach's desire to pursue full custody of Michael. And that's how it kind of starts off. Zach is like, he don't know how his son is living. He's very worried about it. He don't know if Heather is mistreating Michael and all of that jazz. And I'm just like, I get where we're going with this. And we know that he's eventually going to pursue full custody because we got the trailer and Fatima's talking about that and backing him up with that. But I didn't like how hot they brought it in, because Zach, up until now, you were not worried about him. You have not even bothered yourself to go and see the boy once you found out that he was your son by way of the paternity test. You were more so worried about how much this boy was going to cost you in child support. So I am finding it very hard to believe in the start of season 6 with you sitting across from Fatima, worried about if this boy is actually being taken care of, if she's actually handling him appropriately, and if he's actually living in conditions that are tolerable to you, when you didn't drop everything to go and see about him the moment that you found out that he was actually your son. It seems a little bit convenient when it comes to the writing, and I'm gonna go ahead and just call a thing a thing. This boy has been with this woman for 3 years now. As Fatima said, take it one step at a time and you can relax, because in all honesty, while you might have some financial security, you might have a roof over your damn head and food in your stomach, there is nothing screaming and yelling that you will be the primary parent either for this young boy. So before we hop our asses on the parental high horse, let's calm down a second and let's put together some type of plan, move like mature adults, assess the situation accordingly, and again, move like an adult. I didn't know I was going to talk that much about Zach and Fatima, but there you go. And that's pretty much all we got from them in the episode. And honestly, I am loving the ration. I think that they gave us just enough Zach and Fatima where it was not too much, as if they don't have their own show, because they do. It should be coming back very shortly. Probably when we go on mid-season hiatus of Sistas, we will get season 2B of ZATIMA. But they gave us just enough, and honestly, I feel like they gave us a little bit too much Calvin, Maurice, and Q. But they gave us just enough Zach and Fatima, and I would love for Tyler Perry to go ahead and keep this up and not overdo it. Moving on. A major part of this episode was definitely Daniela ending up at the bar, running from her homegirls who were attempting to do a janky-ass intervention in the season finale of season 5. We find Danny drinking, completely drunk, when Preston walks up, because what? He's also having dinner at the same place that Danny decides to throw a couple back at. If y'all watch our Sisters Keeper, you know that we talked about Danny and Preston ad nauseum. So I'm going to go ahead and try to make it cute and sweet here and not, beat a dead horse. But Preston is not it, y'all. I know that we wanted Preston to be it, but Preston is just simply, he is not it for Daniela. Daniela, I would love to see go 30 days in sobriety, no weed, no alcohol, and just giving her space to sit with her thoughts and feel her feelings. I think that she has experienced a huge trauma by way of Jonah, which has compounded on top of additional traumas that she's been picking up along the way in reference to her life. When we first meet her, because y'all, I am rewatching season 1 and it's revealing so much and reminding me of so much. When we meet her in season 1, she's running after this guy who don't want her named Jerome, and she even runs into him with a girl that he flew in on her, flight benefits, and he's completely ignoring her, and she's just like clamoring over this guy. And I think that goes to speak to how unlucky in love that Danny has been. And for me to experience what she experienced with Jonah, to have the ultimatum that Preston gave, which he showed up like a knight in shining armor, but still had a bunch of things with him, like he needed a little bit more than she was willing to give. And then for me, the biggest deal breaker was the ultimatum, and I'm going to marry the girl from back home if you don't actually be with me, which is emotional and mental trauma, which is emotional and mental abuse, whether y'all want to realize it or not. All of that compounded onto her regular interactions with men that just have not seemed to work out for her to be able to create and cultivate a sustainable, healthy relationship. Danni needs a second to come up for air. I could totally see her drowning in her life, and we're watching her throw back all of this alcohol in attempts to not only run away from Preston and what he's presented and how he's breaking her heart in this moment, run away from the trauma of hitting Jonah in the car with her car after he didn't spit on her and abused her and all of this kind of stuff, but also running away from her homegirls who are trying to call her in to be able to look at herself and to be accountable for some of the decisions that she's making, and not necessarily be accountable for the misbehavior of men towards her, but accountable for the lack of self-worth that she's displaying, that is creating an environment that kind of invites some of those things to be able to walk up and into her, in through her door. This moment at the bar is something that becomes like a lay everything bare for all the girls, and that's the one thing that I didn't like about it. Like, I have all of the empathy in the world for Danni, however, her deflecting to the girls pointing out things that are going on in her life to be like, well, y'all all got stuff going on, and basically they all had to say what was wrong with them and what was wrong with their lives, as if that was going to be any way to like excuse or heal the shit that Danni got going on. It's like, girl, Karen struggling with the damn preacher man and Jennifer popping up don't have nothing to do with Jonah spitting on your ass, or Preston giving you this damn ultimatum. Andi being goofy in love over Gary, and I don't even know how the hell that is actually possible. Andi, I don't think you know what love is, mama, but we're not talking about you right now. That ain't gonna change. Her admitting that is not gonna change the fact that you sitting up here drunk at this bar while your ex-man is sitting over there with that white woman trying to rub your nose in it, and whatever the hell type of mental warfare is actually happening between y'all. Like, your girlfriend's problem or your girlfriend's having problems do not take away your problem. So why in the hell do you need them to profess it in this moment? Like, I get you kind of felt attacked in your apartment and you felt condemned. I totally get that. But her desperate need for everybody to call out all of their bullshit, or her to call out all of their bullshit, to me just proved how immature she is and how she's not actually ready and willing to actually heal. Because, girl, their issues have absolutely nothing to do with your very real issues. And at some point, you're going to have to stop running. You're going to have to stop drinking. You're going to have to stop smoking. And you're going to have to face yourself if you actually want to move through all of this. At this point, I'm still rooting for Danni, but I'm very much so frustrated because I felt like we were introduced to a character that was a little bit stronger and a little bit more mature than what we're getting. And I don't know when Tyler Perry going to turn it around for our good sis. Now, and speaking about all the girls laying their sins bare in front of Danni, I cannot with Andi and this whole I just love Gary and I'm going to leave him, but the day ain't today. Girl, when the hell is the damn day? Can we get a Google Calendar invite so that we know and we can prepare for it? We can know that the light at the end of the tunnel is damn coming, because I am still very much confuddled into why you actually so-called are in love or love Gary. Girl, when did that happen? For the 6 months that he was coming over to see your house at 5 o'clock in the morning, laying it down and then going to the gym and going back to his family? When did it happen? And I feel so bad, like, in watching Andi talk about this in this moment, she's like, he's the only person who's made me feel this way. He makes me so happy, he makes me laugh. I'm like, first of all, that's a damn lie, because Robin has made you kiki and cackle and explore quite a bit, both sexually as well as just on a conversational level. Second of all, if you think that Gary is the epitome of what can make you happy romantically, girl, I feel bad for you. I feel bad for you. Are you serious? Gary is doing minus the bare minimum, and you think that that is the top, the pinnacle, and you are so gorgeous, you are so smart, you are so amazing. My God, Andrea. I mean, I guess, you know, you're going to have to live through it and continue to make these mistakes before you're going to be able to actually see the problem in all of this and then turn and pivot and go and seek more. But baby, there is more out there. But no, y'all, she ain't going to be able to hear it or believe it until she can actually see it for her damn self. So us telling her ain't going to do a goddamn thing. Sabrina, girl, you apologizing to Danni. You could have kept it, because you didn't owe her that. She wasn't that damn patient. She wasn't that damn considerate. She is always talking about Calvin. Ever since she heard about the damn panties, she has been on Calvin's ass and making y'all's whole thing even more complicated than it needed to be. You put entirely too much stake into what Danni thinks about you personally, as well as your romantic exchanges, and she has used that at every chance as her comedic relief and to get her rocks off. So girl, you did not owe her that apology. I get that y'all wanted to bring this girl back into the fold and make her feel good, but none of y'all owed her apology except for Andi, because Andi with that whole, well, what about Preston? As if Preston didn't just offer up a goofy ass ultimatum and a white woman attached to it. Andi the only one that owed her damn apology, but you know, I digress. It was solid, y'all. It was definitely solid storytelling, and again, the crux of the episode. Aside from that, y'all, we get the moment where Danni is actually having a meeting, to come to Jesus meeting with Preston and Mindy. Mindy is a simple I did not mean to say that, but I meant to say that. She's simple, y'all. She's absolutely simple. What the hell do you mean that you want him to be sure? What the hell do you mean? Like, girl, Mindy, you cute and all, but go to hell. And Preston, you go right on with her. Danni, get your drink to go and let's get it the hell up out of here. Lead this man to this foolishness that he got going on. I don't even want to talk about it. So y'all can talk about it in the comment section down below, because I can't even do it. It's simple. If you want to know what I thought about it, go ahead and watch the episode of Our Sistas Keeper, because I cannot do it right with y'all right now. And with Preston and this goofy ass Mindy sitting right here. Ain't gonna be able to do it. What else happened in the episode? Because I'm trying to save it all the way to the end, for the very end. Oh, Karen. Yes, y'all. Karen is stuck in the fire by the end of the episode. And y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and clear this up now, because y'all were talking, at least on the after show, we were talking about it, and people were like, oh, she thought that Pam was in there. I don't believe that she thought that Pam was in there. I think that she was frustrated, and she ran into this burning ass building because this is her baby, and this is all she got, and she has a baby on the damn way, and this is her livelihood. I think when she yelled Pam, she's like, Pam, you left the damn curlers on, and she was mad about it. I don't think that she thought that Pam was in there, but I know that, you know, Alicia mentioned that on Our Sistas Keeper, and then a couple other people mentioned it in the comment section, but I want to go ahead and clarify and say that I don't actually think that she thought that Pam was in there. I think that she full on ran in there to try to save her damn salon. And y'all, we can't even fault her for that. I know there's people already calling her stupid and being ridiculous because y'all just hate Karen, and low-key y'all are a little bit anti-black and definitely misogynistic, and I said what the fuck I said. Do not argue with me in the comment section, but anybody could react in that way, especially if it's something that they built up from the ground up on their own, and they take great pride in it, and it's the number one thing bringing in what is going to keep them financially stable. I think because the building itself wasn't fully on fire, and she saw it was like a fire at the actual station, she literally ran it to the fire extinguisher, and that wasn't working. I wouldn't be surprised if I would have did something like that. I don't think it's the most ridiculous, stupid thing in the world that I'm hearing most people say. Again, check y'all's anti-blackness and your misogyny and your overall just simple Karen hate. Like, at this point, go ahead and just ignore Karen. If you don't like her that damn much, instead of creating content to display your misogyny, to display your internalized patriarchy and your anti-blackness, just ignore Karen, because you're embarrassing yourself. You should be embarrassed. I said what I said, and don't argue with me in the comment section. But going to a lighter note on Karen, I'm so proud of our good sis and how she was able to confront Aaron outside her house, create clear boundaries without getting overly disrespectful or overly exorbitant in her language, in her dialogue, but definitely told him what it is and what it's not. And I feel like that's growth for her. I feel like that's powerful. Her speaking to the fact that she had just opened up and this was not helping was just so very honest and vulnerable for her to do. I think that this moment has nothing to do with like any trauma that she had from her relationship with Zach, but 100% to do with the fact that Aaron's wife blew her own head off in front of this girl in her salon. So she is pretty much headed up to here with any type of crazy woman narrative, or any woman coming out of woodwork when it comes to Aaron. She has already experienced the epitome of trauma tied to it, and she does not want to go back down that road again. And Aaron should be damn groveling and sorry that this even got to this point. Now, I don't believe that she actually feels the way that he's actually dating other women. I think that she would have liked for it to be mentioned, but she also knows like what her position was with Zach, and he was very clear about that. I do believe that Aaron's explanation is just not good enough. Even though if it's what happened, it's what happened, it's also like, sir, it's not good enough. You're going to have to go into overdrive to protect this woman, to protect Karen from this woman, because you just, casually dating a girl, and then she just becomes so enamored and in love with you, and now she's going to try to make Karen's life a living hell, is not a good enough explanation, and definitely not a good enough reason for me to still throw myself all in and be able to trust you, especially after I have to experience your wife unaliving herself in my damn salon. But that's pretty much it, y'all. I think that's everything that happened in the episode. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. I'm sorry this video was a little longer. I guess I had a lot more to say. But, you know, most of y'all really, really love it here. And you love the long take. So get into it. And if you haven't already, check out the live after show, Our Sisters Keeper, for even longer takes on the specific things that went down in the episode, as well as advice that we give for both. I mean, not for both, for all sisters involved. And a little bit more. I think that it's a really great time. It's a really great watch, and I hope that y'all enjoy it. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications so you don't miss out on any of my sisters' content. My preview for episode 2 is up now, and you can click right here and watch it.